Hi, my name is Jeff, and welcome back to my workshop. Today we're going to be working on an Arlington Club Beverage Company car. This car is a custom printed car that the train club I belong to, the Arlington Heights Society of Model Engineers, produced this year. And we're going to take a look what's in the box. If you're interested in one of these cars, I'll leave a link to the club's Facebook page in the description below, and there's information about the history of the company as well as how to order a car. So as you can see, the kit has packing material around that. I always save that so I can protect the car once it's built in the box. And then you have the body, silver roof, metallic silver roof, and a little metallic paint on the side. It doesn't really show good in the video. A bag with trucks and couplers and the mounting hardware. A frame with brake detailing, underbody detailing, and stirrup steps. Another sprue with the coupler covers and the brake appliances, a sprue with the ends as well as the brake wheel platform and brake rod, the underframe, of course, the instructions, and a steel weight to weigh the car down. If you've never built an AccuRail kit, make sure you read those instructions. There's some useful tips in them. They're actually pretty good. So we're going to start by adding the brake gearing, and I just removed these. I use a flush cutting sprue clip nippers on these. These are the tweezer style. They help me get in there nice and easy and clean it off. And then if there's any flash on the post, you want to make sure you remove that so it fits in the car perfectly. And you can see they use a half moon post and hole, so you want to make sure it's facing the right way. These are also different sizes depending on the components, so you want to make sure it'll only fit in the hole it's designed for. That'll help you get it into the right spot on the model. And I'm going to take a closer look at it. There we go. Okay. As you can see, I was trying to put it in the wrong spot. Once it's in, I put a little plastic cement on the back side. Just get it just a little drop. Capillary action will draw it into the hole and bond the post to the floor. Do that with the tri-valve. And I also did it with the brake cylinder before I realized that the brake cylinder is actually included with the hosing on the other sprue. So as you can see, I'm taking both of them off, but I'll have to remove that brake cylinder. We've got those in, and again we're going to add just a drop of glue to each one. Fortunately, I went right to work on the other sprue, and I saw that there was a brake cylinder on there, so even before removing it, I pulled that one off before the glue had a chance to harden and set. And I removed the cylinder, being very careful when you cut those parts off because they are fragile, the brake rods. And then just put the cylinder into the hole, appropriate hole. Everything else will line up. You want to get the brake levers in place. One of them has a mounting hole. They also have feet that sit on the underbody, and I'm just adding a drop of glue to help hold those in place. I don't want anything falling out or hanging low underneath the car as it's running down the rails. So the kit instructions do tell you don't need to worry about the pipes. The truck, the wheel sets, the axles on the wheel sets will hold those up. I'm also going to remove the coupler covers and install those on the coupler boxes without couplers because I'm going to paint the bottom of the frame. I like to use a dark gray, grimy black type color. And for that, I'm going to use spray paint. I like the Vallejo model spray paint. We need to get the screws out of the bag. Along with it comes with the Accumate couplers. I don't like those. I'm going to use Katie metal couplers, which are the standard that our club has. The trucks include plastic wheel sets. We're going to use those to mask the cylinders when I paint the trucks. So I'm going to get that out as well. The trip pins can be discarded. And then we'll use the screws to screw the coupler covers on to protect the coupler pockets while we paint. We don't want to get paint in there because that'll make it harder for the couplers to swing freely in the box. I'm using a screw grabber to hold it in place and get it started, and then switch over to my screwdriver to tighten it down. And then we'll repeat the process on the other side. Okay. And then the trucks, we can just insert the plastic wheel sets into it. We'll be using metal wheel sets. I use Intermountain 33-inch metal wheel sets for these. To paint them, I use a variety of different holders. In this case, it's just a piece of dowel that has been sharpened in a pencil sharpener. And I just push the truck onto it. That will hold it on. I actually have two of them, so I can do two trucks at once. For the floor, I'm going to use just a paint stir stick that I got at my local hardware store. Most hardware stores will give these away for you. Whether you're buying paint or not, they'll give you, if you just go in and ask for one, they'll give it to you. It's good advertising for them. So I just press that onto the tape. Now we're ready to paint. When you're painting, I'm going to use Hobby Spray Paint by Vallejo. This is their Panzer Gray, which I think makes a good, nice, grimy black color. Is a good base for a dirty underframe. And just light spray coat going straight down on it. Make sure you're working in a well-ventilated area. And if you need to wear personal protection like a mask, face mask. The trucks, I just get the side frames. I don't worry too much about the bolster because nobody's going to see it. And then I can set those aside to dry. Once those are dry, I'm going to paint the springs on the truck. I'm going to use, this is a Vallejo paint, leather brown. Just need a little drop. I'm using a paper cup as a, bottom of a paper cup as a palette. Just put a dab on my micro brush and just drop it onto the springs. It'll flow right into the cracks and crevices and give me a nice rusty looking springs. And then turn the truck around and get the other side. And we'll do the same thing on the other truck as well. Okay, once that's done, while the trucks are drying, we can turn our attention to coupler installation. So I'm going to remove the coupler cover boxes. And I'm using a Katie number 148 whisker coupler. And these just drop in. Make sure the whiskers are inside the box and not sticking out between the box and the cover. Drop the cover in place. And again, use the screw holder to get the screw started, and then switch to the screwdriver. You want to tighten it down just enough so that it's secure, but not so tight that the coupler doesn't moves freely in the box. With that done, now we can turn our attention to the trucks. I removed the plastic wheel sets, and I'm using a truck reaming tool to clean out the journal ends, and just squeeze it between the truck between that and give it a turn. You'll feel the resistance as it's cutting, but once it starts moving freely, then you know you're done, and you can flip it over to the other side of that end of the truck and repeat the process on the other side. Once all 4 journals have been done, insert the metal wheel sets that I'm using, give it a spin, make sure it spins freely, and your trucks are ready to go. Now you'll notice I did not paint the wheels on that, and that's because our club's standard is to only paint wheels of cars that have resistor wheel sets installed. Since we're still working on getting occupancy detection installed on the layout, we are not installing resistor wheel sets yet. We don't want to confuse the system as we're trying to test and make sure everything's wired correctly through those occupancy detection blocks. So now we'll just install the trucks. Again, you want to tighten the trucks down. You want to have one truck that spins freely but has no wobble, and then the other truck you want to have a little bit of wobble to it as well. That way you always in contact at 3 points. And by the way, if you're enjoying this video, find it and learning something from it, please make sure you give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. I am going to do this car build in 2 parts, so the second part will be posting in a few days. And right now I'm checking the car against the Katy coupler height gauge just to make sure it's in line. It is. I removed the ends from the sprue and just filing the spots where it was attached so we have a good clean finish. You can see the ends have posts in different spots, so you can't get the A and B end of the car mixed up. They only fit on one way. You want to make sure you get it in under the roof. Once you have it installed, a drop of cement on each of the pins. While I'm in here with the cement, I'm also going to do the pins for the running board and the ice hatches, which were installed by AccuRail, but I don't know if they were glued in or just press fit. So I'm going to put some glue to stay put. Once the other end's installed, I can turn my attention to the weight installation. I'm just using Walther's glue. Put a layer down on both the weight and the body frame, and then I'll use a toothpick to smooth it over. So we get a nice thin coat. Once that's done, I'll let it sit for a couple of minutes so that the solvent evaporates out of it, and then I can just set the 2 pieces together to form a permanent bond. Thanks to the magic of editing, that bond is now ready to go. And we can just set the weight in place. Want to make sure it's centered on the car, both from left to right and front to back. Fortunately, the underframe is set so that left to right is easy. I then turn it over so the weight of the car body underframe will hold everything in place and it will sit snug. Here's the finished car. I hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you in part 2.